Stacy Zemon threw a question out to the universe today where she says, and I'm paraphrasing, what do you do when a client says you charge too much? Well, first of all, I don't know if you charge too much or too little. I have no idea. And I didn't read any of the responses. But what I can tell you is typically the responses to these questions that DJs throw out there have something to do with, well, I'm worth it, or I have a good value, or it's not too much to somebody who really understands quality, or whatever. And that all may be true. But I don't know that people respond well to that in real life situations. I think what people really want to know today, especially this generation that's out there getting married and things like that, is really, why does it cost so much? Where is this cost coming from? I don't pick a number out of thin air. I've done a cost analysis as part of my business plan, so I know how much it costs me per gig just to be there. And then I figure out what I want to pay myself, and that's what I charge. It's pretty simple to break down to the client, and I'll give you an example in the context of being in a client meeting. So the client says, oh, you charge too much, or why do you charge so much? And you say, well, let me explain. First of all, I'm bringing about $10,000 worth of equipment to your event. That's the sound, that's the lighting, all of that stuff. And it's also the backup. So if I had to go rent this stuff from a rental house, it would cost me between 10 and 15% of the retail price of all of this equipment. Well, I don't do that. I only charge 5%. So right there, that's $500 of the total cost. I also have music expenses. And the way I figure out my music expenses is I figure out my average gigs per year. I figure out my annual music expenses for my currents and divide that by the number of gigs I have per year. Boom, there's my music cost. And then I also add about $30 to that for iTunes downloads and Amazon downloads for things that people request and I don't have. Now I have to figure out what it's going to cost me vehicle-wise. Back and forth to not only the event, but to the client meetings. I also have to figure out what my insurance is going to cost me for my vehicle and wear and tear and all of that stuff. Got to figure out what my office expenses are. That's business cards, that's website, that's liability insurance, and all the stuff that you have to have as a DJ to run a business. Take those annual costs, divide it by the average number of gigs you have per year, and boom, there are your office expenses. And then you have to pay yourself. Oh, okay, is one of the answers that you could get. And the other response you might get is, well, how come the other guy down the road is only charging $450 for the same service? And all I say is, without bad-mouthing anybody, is, look, I don't know what their business plan is, but this is mine, and this is why my costs are where they are. People tend to understand it. It's real simple. Again, I'm not arbitrarily picking numbers out of thin air here. I am really breaking this down. And, if I end up with $800 worth of expenses when it's all said and done per gig, and I'm charging $1,500, they know, hey, this guy is making $700 for all that he's doing. They get it. They know I have to profit. And, like if you do this whole 5% thing that I was talking about, this means that you pay for your equipment about 20 gigs. And then that equipment can start making money for you. And there's nothing wrong with that. And you got to do this by retail price too. You can't do it by what you bought it for used or what you got it for to do. You got to use replacement retail costs on this. That's how you do business. And the other thing is, after 20 gigs, you may have to replace something. You may have to replace a computer. You may have to replace a light fixture or a cable or whatever. The money that you're getting from your rental fee should cover that. So anyway, quick video for you. Thanks, Stacy, for posting the question. I hope this helps somebody. It's just what I do. Everybody does it their own way. There's no right or wrong, but here's one way you can do that. So thanks for watching. Practice and enjoy.